Check, check. All right, what's going on out there this fine Tuesday evening in MECA land? Hopefully we're out there and live at this point. So I had to re-log in, so hopefully I am live. It looks like I am. So hope everybody's having a good start to their week this week. Looks like Christmas Eve's tomorrow, and it's Christmas Eve. So hope everybody's about ready to get with their families and have a big meal and get some presents and all that good stuff. I know all the bass heads out there need some amplifiers and speakers and wires and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna have Mr. Aaron Bryant with Audiosellerz on here with me this evening here in a minute. I got him in the background here waiting. Sorry it's a little later than normal. We got the chit chatting on there in the background and time just goes by, I guess. But I think I don't have a whole lot. We're knee deep in the rule books at this point. We're into sound quality. We got through the general part. I'm hoping here before the new year we'll have the edits pretty much knocked out or what we're going to do for SQ, and we'll keep on moving the ball forward there. We should see some hopefully see the new rule books the 1st of February or so, and I'll try to keep you guys updated on that. We do have a couple of events coming up. I think January 3rd and 4th in Mississippi there, back-to-back 2X's in Meridian, Mississippi on the 3rd and 4th. So get out there and check that if you're in the area. Make sure you like us up and share us up. Like I said, I'm going to have Mr. Aaron Bryan on here with me this evening with Audiosellerz. So I don't know. We're going to get on here and have a chat with him, talk to him about Audiosellerz, what he's got going on, maybe some of his goals and things like that. I'm going to go fishing tomorrow, Christmas Eve fishing. It'll be fun. You guys got any questions for me this evening before I bring Mr. Aaron in? See if we get things to load here. Is my internet having problems tonight, y'all? I don't know if my chat's working. I mean, it looks like it's working, but I'm starting to wonder. Oh, it says I'm live. My chat box is trying not to load, though. Let's see here. Yeah, my chat box is being stupid. I guess I'll have to use my phone here. So what's going on, Mr. Rick, Miss Christina, Mr. Kevin? Miss Whitney. I can see it now. I don't know why my chat box isn't working on my stream here. No. All right, well, I'll just use the phone and we'll get through it here. Yeah, burnout class. Let's see. So Miss Christina said, are any big changes to street sound pressure classes? Well, we haven't really got into discussing that yet. I do have a list of things. I don't think there's going to be any big changes. The only one that might be quote unquote big is maybe we were discussing the 12 inches from the roof thing. But other than that, I don't really think so. So, what's going on, Mr. Mark Stage, Mr. John Miller, Mr. Joe? All right. So, like I said, you'll have to bear with me because it doesn't look like my chat box is going to work this evening, but I will be keeping up on my phone. And if you do have questions for me or Aaron, go ahead and ask them and we'll try to get to them. But like I said, I don't have a whole lot other than that. I did have a meeting with the website guys. It looks like that's coming along. So hopefully we'll be having a new website here around mid-March. And I think that's all I got right now. If you guys got questions, like I said, ask them here in the comments and we'll try to get you answered. But I'm going to get Mr. Aaron on here and we're going to have a little Christmas Eve conversation with Mr. Aaron. Merry Christmas, Mr. Stacy. What's going on, Chad? Glad you made it. So let's see here. I'm going to bring Aaron in. Yes, Rick, that's what I got on the schedule. What's going on, Mr. Clifford? And without further ado, here's Mr. Aaron. What's going on, Aaron?
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, guys? Sorry my chat's not working in my studio, so
yeah, it's showing up like 4 minutes after so many comments. I got the
I don't know
Facebook and the other thing pulled up, and it's delayed pretty bad.
Huh. I'm about to go get a different email or internet and see if that fixes my problem. Because I'm tired of paying too much money for this crap. What's going on, Todd? But anyways, so we got Mr. Aaron here with Audiosellerz. So I guess let's tell these fine folks about Audiosellerz, Aaron.
Well, I'm pretty sure everybody in the chat knows who I am by now. For the ones that don't, I used to compete for many, many years. I have a couple world records. I have a world title in MECA. I don't remember what class it was for. XM1 or M3, one of the two. I haven't competed in about 3 years. I started Audiosellerz. We mostly just resell car audio brands. We do make some of our own stuff in-house. And we're just trying to keep growing, keep pushing to the next step.
All right. So you said you make some of your own stuff. Is that mostly like fuse blocks and things like that, or?
Yeah, fuse blocks, bass knobs. I actually have like 20 products designed and like finished prototyping, but we just have no time to actually like try to make them and stock them.
Right.
So we just kind of put that on the back burner until we could get like a person to sit there and make them all day, every day. But the type of stuff that we sell, there's not really a lot of markup in it per se. So it's not like a major focus. But at some point it will be. But just one step at a time.
Makes sense. I hear that. So I guess you got like a storefront as well. You do installs and things like that.
Yeah, so we still got like a local storefront. We still do installs, tent, remote starts. I'm tired of hearing the word remote start already for the year, but a couple more months of it. We do tent, and then obviously car audio retail and installs. The main goal, I guess, is to eventually someday get away from doing it in-house.
Okay.
I would prefer to just be a distributor and then like an online retailer. We are a distributor for a couple brands now, so we sell a lot of the other dealers, especially the ones here in Ohio.
Right.
We do like a same-day delivery to our dealers if they're within a 50-mile radius. So a lot of the dealers pick up on that. because they don't per se have to stock it. We have to. And they'll
Right.
sell it and be like, hey, they'll call them, hey, I got this install in 2 hours. Bring me my stuff. So sometimes it's a hassle, but it pays out pretty well. Um, we've enjoyed doing that. We've gotten to know a lot of the local shops in the area. So that's pretty cool. I know a lot of times in car audio, I've done car audio since 08 professionally or as a hobby, off and on, off and on. And I remember,
Right.
Back in the early or mid 2000s, say if you had two shops in the same town, them two shops never ever got along. So it's pretty cool to be able to be a distributor local to these guys because, we send each other work if we're too backed up.
Right.
Or say if one of us can't get a part, the other one has it. Like, we share a lot of stuff. And so it's pretty cool to have a relationship with a lot of those guys.
Heck yeah. Let's see. Clifford said, "Do you resell only or build full systems?" I think you kind of touched on that really already. So I think
Yeah,
right
we do
now he kind
anything from
of does
basic
both.
installs to full blown systems. I mean, like I said, I've competed for many years. When I had my caravan, which a lot of you guys have seen, Derek Weber owns it now. Um, so yeah, we can do anything from your basic single 12 in the back of your car with your factory ready to full blown knock somebody's wig off.
Right. All right. So he does a little bit of everything. So I guess if somebody was to want to, have a system built, do you guys have like, are you how do they go about doing that? Do you have like a brick and mortar location
Yep,
um, that's open like Monday through Friday or whatever, or how's
yep,
that work out? How they get with you?
yeah. We have a brick and mortar location. We're open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 6. It's more like 10 to 6, but we advertise 11 to 6 so we can get some stuff done in the mornings.
Right.
Um, and then Facebook, call us, text us, email, send a carrier pigeon. I don't care how you get in contact.
A carrier pigeon, huh?
Hey,
Then obviously you have a website as well, and I guess inventory. So, um, you know, uh, you don't like schedule appointments and things like that through your website, do you?
through our website chat we do. So we don't have like an
Okay.
appointment on like a dedicated app on the website to schedule appointments, just because that would be hectic.
Right.
You'd run into like double scheduling people, and that would not end up good. But no, a lot of our customers, especially local customers, they'll get up right on our website and you can chat. It's almost just like Facebook Messenger, and
Okay.
you can chat with us right on our website. Somebody will text you back. It might be me, Mike, Lauren, Little Mike. I mean, I don't know who's going to reply to you, but somebody is.
Right.
So a lot of our local people actually do that, and then schedule remote starts and stuff like that all the time through there. So that's pretty cool. We try to make it easy as possible for everybody to get in contact with us, because there's actually a lot of people nowadays that doesn't have social medias.
Yeah, that's true, I suppose, but weird at the same time, I guess.
You know what though? I don't think it is, because social media can be either a blessing or extremely toxic, depending on what kind of person you are.
That's a fair assessment. That's definitely a fair
So
assessment.
I
That's
understand why a lot of people don't want to be on social media.
uh Robert Cash, waiting on starting my rebuild until the 2026 rules are out. Do you have an idea when that will be? Well, I think I went over that a little earlier, but we're working with sound quality right now, and I think we'll be done with that here shortly. And then we'll be discussing, dueling demos, kids, and sound pressure and show and shine stuff. Um, and then obviously I got to do the edits. But I'm thinking you're probably going to be looking at probably the 1st of February, maybe the 1st of March, but hopefully by the 1st of February. But I don't see any big changes either, like Joe said. So I mean, if you got a question and you want to get started or whatever, you can feel free to reach out to one of us, and we can hopefully try to point you in the right direction. Clifford is our Trinidad representative, and he asked me, uh, will MECA see a build in the lanes next season from you or your shop? I'm from Trinidad. Uh, so this might be a question I might ask a build shop. Huh. I think he just wants to know if you're gonna have a vehicle that you're gonna compete with. Sorry.
Uh, I don't know. Um, I may get my caravan back, but even if I get it back, I don't know that it'll be in the lanes next year. Um, just because I'm a very competitive person, so I know that if I get that back and I decide I'm going to do something with it, that's going to take up a lot of time. And that's not really my goal. Like, I already know I can go into MECA, and if I put my mind to it, I can win. And I'm not trying to be like cocky or anything, but any of you guys, if you want to do something and you're 100% serious about it, and you're willing to sacrifice other aspects of your life to make a goal happen, you can do anything you want. My goal for myself, and this will probably be my goal for the next few years, is just to keep growing my business. I want to be able to take care of my family. I want my employees to be able to take care of their families, especially the ones that's been with me since the beginning, or the ones that go out of their way to make sure that we're always good as a team. So getting my caravan back or building another vehicle, either way. I don't know that I would compete. I'm definitely going to compete again someday because I still have that itch. But
Right.
for now, I just want to keep growing. I got the Astro. I'm building the wife at XB right now, which is going to be demo based. So you guys are always going to see builds from us at shows, knocking people's wigs off. But as far as the lanes, I don't think that's going to happen for a couple more years at least.
Let's see what's going on, Eric. Chris Hammonds. Can we get a class for wind or lower tuned rides? Well, let's see here.
I had an idea about that, bud, and I tried to get
Well,
way ahead.
I have an idea about that too, but at the end of the day, like, and people will find out about it soon enough. But I guess just the short answer, and then I'll discuss this with you because you seem like that might be something you want to discuss. So we'll discuss it, and I'm definitely open to discussing it. But this season for 2026, I'm not going to change or add any classes, and it's only because the website is messed up right this second, and I'm having it rebuilt. And if I change any of that stuff, it's going to break the current website even worse than it already is. So, with that said, as far as adding classes and stuff like that for 2026, I'm kind of handcuffed. Um, but I do have something in mind that I'm gonna introduce in 2027. But it's not necessarily 100%. I wouldn't say it's just necessarily built towards wind or lower tuned rides, but it is just you'll just have to wait and see, I guess, what I'm thinking about. But At the end of the day, another thing is the headrest already plays about as fair as you're going to play with lower tuned rides. Um, as far as a meter location's concerned. Um, so there's that. But what would you wanting to add to that, Aaron?
Well, there's two ways that I would like to see I guess, a low end monster be able to be judged. So you've seen people try to use the wind meters, right? To see how windy something
Yeah.
is. So I was trying to talk Wayne into doing this 4 or 5 years ago, because the term lab is a very powerful tool, and Wayne's a pretty smart dude when it comes to programming and stuff like that. I don't see why he
Right.
couldn't make a sensor that just plugs into Ethernet and plays through the term lab. So I think that would be a very cool idea, to have a way to measure wind for like a 30-second average. Um, Another cool thing that I think it would be cool would be, make a class. It's a 30-second average. It has to be music, of course. The meter starts once the judges hear the music, and you have to play at 20 hertz. That's what it is, 20 hertz or lower, and whoever averages the highest score after 30 seconds. I mean, that's a true low-end monster demo build.
Right. I'm weird
And I think the
because
sensor location should be at the window line. That's where everybody's be getting their hair tricks at.
that makes sense.
Because there is,
It's not bad. That's
you go
not
to
a bad.
shows,
That's not necessary. That's not a bad idea.
because you go to shows like
But
in my van. You've been in my van. Uh, that thing's impressive, but you put it on a meter and you play it for something that wasn't intended to play, it's gonna suck. I'm gonna put it on the meter. I'd be embarrassed. I've never even metered my van. I have no idea what it does, but I know that it's windy.
right. I don't know. I mean, for me, I think that both are kind of interesting, but they're really I'll have an unpopular opinion because if you want me to be honest, playing 20 hertz is no different than playing 80. But uh, so that's the unpopular opinion. It's just the same thing backwards. So congratulations, you built the 20 hertz Burt box. But with that being said, both are genuinely fun for whatever reason. I like both. I'm just putting it out there that they're like, as much as everybody thinks it's oil and water, it's the exact same thing.
No, it is. It is. It's just, you know,
Uh,
like you can build a classic
it's
car to
just
look good, or you can build a classic car
one
to go
person's
fast.
doing it to do something different than the other. I get that part, but basically for me, it's either forcing the car to be as loud as possible or forcing the car to be as loud and low as possible. But they're both one and the same, just different ideas.
Well, I kind of like
As
what Chad says. Maybe you do a 3 round. You take a 20 hertz, 30-second average, a 40 hertz, and then well, you wouldn't want to do 60, but
I
20,
got I
30,
got I
40.
got I got something. I got something. But I just ain't ready to talk about it yet. Y'all are trying to make me talk about something I ain't ready to talk about.
I'm just waiting for the
Because
burnout contest.
the burnout contest.
Because then I will buy the caravan back and come back out.
I just hate to start talking about something and then I can't make it come to fruition or something like that. So I want to be a little bit more farther along in my process of preparedness before I really stick my foot in my mouth, I guess. But you know, it is what it is. Anybody else got any questions for us or anything? Yeah, none of them are represented the way I want to represent it, though. So there's that part. But I do think there are several other orgs that have stuff that's similar to that, like the some subsonic stuff and things like that.
You
But
know, one thing I used to like to do back in the day when I had my Astro, and I know this isn't obviously MECA, but bass boxing. That was cool. Because that really tested
yeah,
the capabilities. You know, sealed up, one door open, two door open, and it was a 30-second average for each.
yeah. Well, I mean, what I got in my mind, all I can tell you is that it ain't gonna be easy, and you know what's going
Well, I'm
on,
curious
Mister
to see
Gibb.
what you got.
But I don't, like I said, I'd rather just wait until I'm a little bit farther along and I'm actually ready to introduce it. So, but I mean, I think we're at a place in time where there's going to be some, uh, some things added and stuff like that. It's just 2026 ain't going to be that time, I suppose. All right. Uh, no, I know that's what I'm banking on. Hopefully, is that people don't want it to be easy. But anyways, if y'all got other questions for me, let me know. If you got questions for Aaron, let us know. And I'll get back to picking his brain about audio sellers. So obviously, you told us, you know, I mean, really, we already kind of have, park and pound, which is as similar to base boxing as we get. But I don't know. I'm not much on trying to copy people either. So there's that part. But anyways, audio sellers. So you said your goal is to keep on trying to grow on the company front and things like that. You got any like big plans or anything going on behind the scenes that you're willing to talk about? Anything in the near future that's going to happen? Uh, Anything exciting like that going on?
Uh, we definitely want growth. So, been doing it coming up on 3 years. Um, every year since we've started, we have slightly more than doubled. Um, and the first 2 years I was by myself. Um, well, me and my wife, and really the last year is when we started bringing in employees because it was just becoming too much for me and her. Um, and obviously they contributed to that growth. Um, but we've been putting a lot of things in place that we're going to start doing in 2026 that we haven't ever done before.
Okay.
And then us just recently becoming a distributor about halfway through this year. That's a new learning thing that we had to do. That's a different type of sale. That's a different whole clientele. You're not just dealing with the public or like a regular retail customer. Um, Car audio shops are a lot harder to sell stuff to. Um, a lot of shops, they already have a brand they like, and no matter
Right.
what you tell some of these guys, they don't care. They don't want to hear it. What they got's the best in the world, and they don't go to shows like me or you do. They're very closed-minded about what's available, and they only know what they've had available. So that's one of our things that we've been trying to overcome. That's a pretty difficult one, but I think we have the right people in place to really get that growing. Um, and then we do have a couple more brands that we're probably going to bring on in 2026. I've been really slow about bringing brands in because we like to stock stuff. I like to have it on the shelf. The whole drop
Right.
shipping idea that some of these other people are doing, I'm not knocking it, but when I first started out, I did a lot of that, and that just leads to headaches. That manufacturer or that distributor may not tell you that, something's out of stock, and now you sell it on your website, and now you can't get it. And then you got to refund the customer, and that makes you look like a bad person, or they'll bash you because, oh, I ordered this and they gave my money back. So in 2025, we went away from that idea and tried to stock everything that we have on our website available for sale.
Right.
So I think that was a step in the right direction. I know that we've had a lot less issues doing it that way. Obviously, it's a lot more money out of our pockets to try to do it that way, but I think that is the correct way of trying to run a business. So 2026, we're definitely going to get a couple more brands in. I've been trying to figure out what lithium brand we want to do. I know that there's a bunch available on the market right now. Another thing I've been trying to do is not do so big of mainstream brands. Like we brought on Audio Ace. Audio Ace, obviously a lot of people have heard before in our community, but the general
Right.
public hasn't. So we've been trying to bring in like newer brands that a lot of people don't know about outside of our actual tight-knit car audio community. And so that's really cool to be able to help those brands grow. And then, they also help us grow.
Right.
So I think that 2026, we're actually going to see way more than double growth. Just by the way it's been going the last couple of months, that people are starting to realize and appreciate. Like someone just said in the comments, love when shops have it in stock where you can walk in. Me too, because I hate going to the store and you go there because you want something and they're like, oh, I can order it. Well, I can order it too. I mean, that's just what it is. Me and you are both, all of us are a retail customer outside of car audio. It doesn't matter. When you go to Walmart, you're a retail customer. So I get it. I understand where people are coming from. I try to put myself in their shoes, and my business as well. And I'm just trying to do it the right way. I think a lot of people nowadays, they rely on clout or their, a following to try to get something and to try to capitalize on that. I try to just do it the right way. I try to help out the community, just like MECA finals. We were there. We helped out a lot on the awards.
Right.
I would say 3/4 of Ohio shows this year, we had some kind of help in or was there to support, gave lanyards or, raffle items. So we've been really trying to grow Audiosellerz by just, showing the community that we actually care about the community, because we do. We've all competed or have been in the community for a really long time. We've seen people come and go. Maybe one day we'll go. I don't know. You don't know what's down the road. I mean,
Right.
realistically, you don't know. We could go to war tomorrow and car audio is dead. But yeah, I mean, we're just pushing, trying to help out the community, do what we feel is right. And if people like it, cool. And if they don't, that's cool too, I guess.
Yeah, we tend to appreciate the help, Aaron. A lot of things can't happen sometimes without the village. So, we always appreciate those folks that are willing to help us, and anything hopefully we could do to try to help grow your business. These lives, word of mouth type stuff. You know, Chad said he appreciates it. So, just from the MECA team, we appreciate all that, and it's kind of I don't know, a big part of our goal and vision or whatever mission is trying to, we might not always be right or we might not always look right, but we sure try to do it that way. And a lot of times, I think a lot of times when people know you care, they use that to their advantage too. So sometimes,
Oh yeah.
sometimes, sometimes there's
Oh
that
yeah.
part.
Well, and
But you know,
like that post I made a couple of days ago, and that was, I was in my feelings. Sometimes doing something right, morally right, may not be business right, and then sometimes a business might not be a morally right. And some people do take that advantage, like, oh, Aaron's a good guy, he cares, he's gonna let me get away with something. And for the
right,
most part, you're right, because I do want people to be happy. I want people to have a good experience. Uh, the car audio community is tiny in the grand scheme of things. Um,
yeah,
you know, you look at, we'll talk about Xbox. You know how many more people play Xbox than play with speakers? Or buying houses or buying groceries to feed your family. Car audio is a very small community. Um, And to grow in a small community, you have to try to do what's right by people. And sometimes that means you get screwed over, but at least that person's happy. But then there's also the people that do it intentionally. So
right.
that's kind of one of those things that's a struggle, but we'll get there. Everybody will get there. And that's one thing I like about, like, you and Shannon. You guys have been in the industry for a very long time, as have I. And we've seen a lot, and we know what's right. We know the end goal. We know where we've been, what we've had to do to get there. Um, so we just kind of keep pushing. Um, and that's just what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, really, I don't see any other way we could do it. You just got to keep trying to move that ball in the, what you think is the right direction. And I tell people all the time, I'm not always right, and we make mistakes. But the second I tell you I don't care that I made that mistake or that I'm not trying to fix it, that's when you should worry. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, uh, I
Jeremy
think that
says that we better leave his Xbox alone.
yeah, leave his Xbox alone. I think the large majority of us are, trying to do what we think's right. It's just all kinds of different ways to skin a cat. So,
Yeah.
I'm not saying some of them, I'm not saying there's not some bad apples, but I know the majority of the folks I deal with, even some of them that, we might not agree or see eye to eye. I think that the majority of the people I deal with, I do think are decent, you know. But like I said, there's always bad apples everywhere. But uh,
And one thing I've noticed too, because I used to try to please everybody, and don't get me wrong, I wish I could. But now that we've grown and grown and grown and grown, like, now it's to the day where we have a two-digit customer base every day instead of one customer a week or one customer every couple of
right,
days. So now, we're dealing with dozens and dozens of people a week. Sometimes, like when we ran our Black Friday sale, we was dealing with hundreds of customers a week. And one thing I've really learned in 2025, now that we're starting to get more customers and getting traction online and stuff, you can't please everybody. There's literally people in this world that they don't want to be pleased. Like there's never going to be happy. And we see that in car audio. I mean, met people like that over the years in car audio. Um, and it is what it is. I just won't cater to them anymore, I guess.
yeah. I'm an ELEer. No, no. Uh, yeah. I mean, I see where you're coming from. Robert Stewart, Aaron made it possible for me to build my dream ride. Well,
That dude right there is a
congratulations,
good
Rob.
dude.
That's cool. Well, thanks for coming on and saying hi. If you got questions for Aaron or anything, let us know. Wayne said he buys too many stereo gear to have a gaming system. I used to be right there with you. What's going on, Mr. Kyle Carroll?
Xbox is
All right.
definitely cheaper.
I think I'm caught back up halfway. If you ask me something and I missed it, you'll have to ask again. But um I guess basically growth and new things in 2026. And you got any last minute Christmas deals going on or anything? I know it's Christmas Eve tomorrow, so
Ugh.
y'all are late if you already buy it from me.
So everybody keeps asking me that. To be honest, we just got caught up from all the Black Friday madness. Uh, I I'm sure some of you seen it because I see some names in here that bought stuff. Um, I think we went a little too hard during that. Um, I'm going to do something that's going to be like super last minute if we do. But I don't really know what to do because I don't think we can top what we just did. Um, and it's the end of the year. You know, we're trying to figure out. Like I just started making a list a couple of days ago about what shows we want to do next year. Um, we plan on traveling a lot next year, so I mean we've traveled a
Yeah,
lot
but
this year, but next year we
I
want
think
to.
boots on the ground and being out there, meeting people and stuff, I think that's gonna help you some.
Yeah, and this year, the wife and I and our kid, we went down to Maida Steel. We just drove down. We didn't have a booth or nothing, but I met so many people there that I've talked to online, uh, and that was like so cool. And then like the wife and I flew out to the Sky High Barbecue just a couple months back. Um, and from competing over the years, it's always East Coast, West Coast, the drama. And so a
Right.
lot of those guys, I've talked to online over social media. Some of them you remember the old Term Pro forums. Like some of the people I
Yeah.
got to meet out there is people that I've met way back in the day on the old forums, but I've never got to see them in person and like shake their hand or give them a hug. So that was honestly the Sky High Barbecue. The show is not big, but they do things different out there. So here we got shit boxes that we put 40 grand into and make it loud as possible. Out there they got 40 grand paint jobs, but it can't do a hair trick. Not all of them. Some of them are pretty badass builds still, but they take pride in their actual appearance out there
Right.
instead of just making it as loud as possible. So that was like super cool to experience that. Um, that gave me like a different outlook on a lot of things. And I'm not going to tell you what we're doing with the old ladies XB, but one of the things that I want to try to do is more of an appearance than some of my demo builds that I've done for myself in the past or my competition vehicles. Um, but there is two different worlds of car audio between the East Coast and the West Coast. So it was super nice to be able to experience that. Uh, I can tell you I'm not going to have a booth on the West Coast in 2026 because, for one, it would take 2 weeks of drive time to get there and back, not to mention the funds it would take involved to be able to get a booth of that size there. But we are planning
Right.
on doing a lot more bigger shows and to try to do a lot of smaller events too this year than what we have been doing. Because I think a lot of it is getting out there and just talking to people. And people either support people for two reasons. One, they like the person, or two, there's them supporting them makes them feel a type of way about being able to support them. Um, so going to shows and actually getting to know more people has definitely helped this year as far as traveling. So we want to keep that up in 2026 and hit up a bunch more shows. Um, so that'll be interesting. We're going to be on the road a lot, um, which is fun, but it also kind of sucks because when you're on the road driving for a couple of days, then you're at a show for a couple of days, then a couple of days back, you get back and you're behind. And then by the time
Right.
you catch up, it's time to load up the trailer again.
Hey, that sounds like my life.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a couple of events this year, man. we literally didn't even unload the van. And like usually we get back, we unload the van, put all the inventory away. And there was like a couple times where we just left it and left the trailer and truck hooked up. And hey, we got to do this again in 3 days. So why spend the whole day loading
Right.
it? But yeah, 2026 will definitely be fun.
I guess just why I got you on here, and you were one of our main sponsors, and one of the few people that had a booth at finals. You know, I guess if you would give me your thoughts on MECA finals, and you know, I don't know, anything I could do different or better for you, or anything like that. Did you have fun? I don't know.
So
Recap.
So I had a blast. So that was my first finals that I've attended since I had my caravan. And that was back when me and you used to be pretty close in competing with each other. And so it was cool. It was definitely cool to come back and, go to another finals. We've supported a lot of your guys' events through the years, but we've never been to finals. So finals was really cool because you get to see people that have to travel for finals, obviously. And then, at finals, everybody's pushing it. People's trying to set records. And then usually it's just the vibe at finals. Like, finals is for finals people. You don't get, like, the general public there. So everybody that you kind of talk to knows. You don't have to – it's a different conversation, I guess. I do wish unified finals was still unified finals back like it used to be back in the day. So like I guess my thoughts on finals and being an ex-competitor, a non-unified finals, people have to make a choice. What they want to do or what they want to support, what their goal is. So there was a lot of faces I didn't get to see. Just because, they supported a different organization instead of MECA. But I will say, from my past experience and recent experiences, MECA is the biggest organization. They have the most amount of competitors. They have I'm pretty sure the most amount of classes too, correct?
I'm not sure about the most classes. And I do think that I don't know. I'm not 100% sure what because there's a lot more organization there than people know of too. But I don't
I
think
know
what you said.
On the East Coast, I would say MECA's the biggest.
I don't. Well, I mean, there's not really a doubt in my mind. I mean, I know the information. I should, right? But I don't know the actual numbers from finals information. But from what I know, we do have the most active members, and I think we had 100 individual vehicles at finals, and I think we did like 278 entries for finals for sound pressure only. And then if I include the 3X and the sound quality show, we're close to 400 entries.
Yeah.
But you're only at like 140 or 50 individuals, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people do
So
multiple classes.
some of those information or some of those numbers, it just depends on how you're looking at them. I usually look at it from an individual vehicle perspective, but a lot of folks will look at it from an entry perspective because obviously that makes it look or sound better.
Right.
If I say 150, that doesn't sound as good as 400, right? So, I
I
usually
got
look
you.
at it from a car perspective, but
Well, then you had people like Mike Mack where he had 15 entries. So
right. Uh, so I just I think I just want to keep on moving, trying to push my ball in the correct direction and keep on growing, just kind of like you said. And I try to
I
keep my
will
head
say
down, stay in my lane.
one I will say one thing I like about MECA/MECA finals is you guys run it like a big family. I've competed in other organizations, and it is just this is the rules. This is what time to be in the lanes. This is what time awards are. You guys are stopping and hey, let's go eat. Let's sit down and be a family and have conversations and let's eat a meal. Um,
I do think that's part of what we. That's part of Shannon, and that's part of Shannon and mine's product. It always has been that
yep.
we want people to feel equal and special, and like I said, we don't always accomplish it, and we have plenty of people that we make upset here and there or whatever, but that's a for me, and I think for a lot of the people in car audio, and I mean I don't know how much I get into it here or not, but for me, I don't know if I've ever really, I might have said briefly why I did what I did, but like, just long story short, I did what I did in car audio and stuff, and then ended up where I was at basically just because I felt like car audio. Uh, I don't want to necessarily say it saved my life, but I think it made me a more successful individual. Uh, it took me off of the
It gave
wrong.
you goals. Yeah, it gave you
Yeah, and
goals and
it,
you
and
worked
it
towards
took me
them.
off of the wrong path in life when I was a young person, and gave me something to do. And I felt like if I could just do that for one more person, then it will be worth it. you know
Yep,
and
I got you.
here I am, almost 4 years into it, and I'm pretty confident that I've succeeded in my mission of that particular goal already. And so, like, at the end of the day, I never did this for money. Yeah, I want to be able to make a living and live my life, but like, I did this because I love it. You know what I'm saying?
No,
And
I
I
get
feel
it.
like it gave it. We're I feel like we're kind of the island of misfit toys. You know what I'm saying? But it's our piece and where we get to you know do our thing. So that's why maybe that's why we end up getting along. But that's really for me what it is. It's like, it is a family. It's dysfunctional. We don't always like each other.
Hey, and
we,
you know what? That's
we
fine.
definitely, we
That's
definitely
allowed.
disagree,
That's allowed.
but families do that, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
uh you know a lot of times I don't mind it, because at the end of the day, even though I might think I'm right 8 or 9 times out of 10, the 2 times I realize I'm wrong, it helps me be a better person, a better business owner. So you know I don't usually I'm not a confrontational person, just because I don't like confrontating, basically because I'm cool as a fan until I'm not. And so I try to avoid those things like the plague. You know what I'm saying? But um other than that, I think that's a big part of what we do that is a little bit different. And uh I don't plan on changing that anytime soon, because like I
Well,
said,
and
that's
I think that's
that's what
part of the reason why Mecca is successful as it is, because other people, they see that, and when you compete in Mecca, you feel like you're actually wanted and cared about. You're not just competing because you want to win a trophy or a ring at the end of the year. Like, you go to show and you're with family, bro. Like, everybody that you compete against, that you might not get along because you are trying to beat each other in the end. But
right.
like when I competed in DB drag, which I did for many years, uh, DB
Yeah.
drag, it was just I'm going to a show, I need a win, and I didn't care about I guess what else was going on. I was focused on one thing, and I think that was like a lot of the mentality. And I'm not talking bad. I'm not saying that's how it shouldn't be. But, when I started competing in
No, there's
MECA,
pros and cons both ways,
no, for
definitely.
sure. And, I didn't ever compete in MECA until, you guys was considering owning it. And that's when I started competing in MECA. And I was like, dude, like, you know, you feel wanted, you feel appreciated, people are willing to tell you their secrets of how they got louder. Um, it's just like a more welcoming, open arm feeling, I guess. So
Yeah, I mean that was part of that started with Steve too. I think that's always been kind of Mecca's thing. It's like a grassroots, you know, and I don't know. As I grew up, I realized I liked helping people as much as I liked beating them. And once I realized that for myself that I like to help people too, then that just kind of that kind of just switched the gears on how I operated. And like I said, I really do think that is a big reason or help to what we do is that we have a way of making that happen. And if I knew exactly how to make it happen and give you the formula, I probably wouldn't. But
yeah.
uh, I just know that we do it, and I am aware that we do it, but uh, I don't really know how to replicate it because I feel like it's a vibe.
Oh, it's
It's
a
my
vibe.
uh, I don't know. So, but I appreciate those kind words, and I appreciate that you see that. Um, it's good to hear positive things sometimes, so that's good.
So are you guys also going to
Um,
try to do like a lot more events next year as far as like you and Shannon personally going to them?
um, right now I don't know. I mean, generally, Shannon and I are at an event almost every weekend somewhere. We don't necessarily host all of them, but we do try to go to a lot of them. Um, we've got a lot of growth coming. Um, I do expect to be traveling a lot at least this next year. I know last year I didn't do as much traveling and things like that. Business was down a little bit, so some of that comes and goes with the revenue being generated. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I get it.
Um, but it's definitely important to Shannon and I to get out to the events and things like that. I think that's something else that we might do that's a little bit different. Not that the other guys don't go to a lot of shows, but that's another big part of what we do is we want to go everywhere where we have representation and let those competitors know that we care about them equally as well. So um, it is important to us to get to those places. It just doesn't always work the way we want.
So do you think you guys will be like kind of what we're doing or planning is to getting out of like your normal region next year? Or do you think you'll still be kind of mostly in your region?
I mean, the way it's fallen, I think we'll slowly start reaching back towards the west. So, I mean, it just kind of depends on finding the right people and who contacts us, and not everybody that contacts us ends up working out, but and sometimes we reach out to people too, but not not very often do we reach out to people anymore. um usually the right folks will kind of come to us to some extent, and then we'll just kind of vet them out that way. um
I believe that's the best process. I've noticed a lot of times you ask somebody if they want to do something and they may say yes, but prior to you asking them, they didn't want to do it. So
right.
I think waiting for the right person to come forward and hey, I want to be a MECA event promoter. Uh, I think that shows that they were, dead serious about wanting to do it to begin with.
For sure. Let's see, Justin Newton. Why don't you guys hold any at the Kentucky Expo Center or Convention Center? Well, I'll tell you.
The one there in Louisville?
Yeah, and we did finals there a couple years ago. But I mean, just 100% transparency. It's $30,000. That's why. Or
Yeah.
okay, 28,900 and something. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it might as well be.
And you know what though? That's almost an ideal facility to hold a final.
It definitely works, and we like it. It's just, you know, and they're also a little bit different. They are a little bit difficult to deal with because it's a state-ran facility and it is a big facility. So they have events all the time, so they can be a little bit difficult to work with. But I mean, the biggest reason is just affordability, and that's another thing. Like, the unified finals gig, like, I think the majority of us wouldn't mind making it happen. And like at the end of the day, I don't not get along with any of the owners, at least that I know of. But the logistics of it is not as easy as folks think, especially when you might have 3 or 4 organizations that are going to need the same amount of space as one, and then I don't know. It just makes things a little difficult, and it's not necessarily always what meets the eye out front.
So was the last time? Was the last time MECA Finals was there? Was it just MECA?
Yes.
So did you guys rent the hall on the other side and do like SQ the same weekend?
So basically, it was the arena and the hall.
Okay.
Basically, like the same way we did it when it was unified.
Okay. So you did SQ and everything the same weekend, just in the hall.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I liked back when that used to go on. And I thought that was really cool because, the SQ guys could come see our world and we could go see their world, because it is 2 totally different things.
Right. But, we like it there. And I mean, if we could find a way to get everybody back together, it might be feasible. But I mean, that was kind of what I was trying to get to. A lot of it isn't that we don't want to. It's just that, like, you have 100 cars and 100 cars, and then I guess it puts you in a place where you need the actual venue size to fit that and fit the lanes and fit the cars and still make everybody feel like they're special is a very difficult job.
Well,
so
it's also a lot of people don't understand what it takes to put on a show, let alone what it takes to put on finals. And then if you have 3 organizations trying to work together to do that, I could just imagine. I wouldn't want a part of doing it, to be honest with you.
Well, it's just difficult because, like, at the end of the day, from a competitor's perspective, I used to be one. I love it. Hell, even as a MECA judge, I was one of the first people that was like, we should be doing this together. And, I'm not against it at all. It's just that, like, going from, I think I've drove every car there is to drive our audio competition, and until you drive them all, you don't understand things that you think you do. And I can tell you that my ideas and thoughts have changed over the years, and even more so in the last 4 years since I got a different car to drive. Every time you go up a level, you realize different stuff.
Oh yeah. So I guess we touched base on where everybody wants finals to be. So let me ask you, because this is funny. This is going to be a funny one. Where do you remember the worst finals? The worst location.
Where do I remember?
I know exactly where I remember. I'm sure you would have been there.
I mean, I know I mean, I don't know that I consider any of them the worst, but
All right, you want to hear? You want to hear mine? You remember when they
what?
had it in Lima, Ohio, at the fairgrounds in the horse stalls?
Okay,
You remember that show or that
yeah.
finals?
I
That
don't know
was
if I
that was
remember
a
it.
pretty bad
But
one.
I'm sure Joe does, and I know that MECA had a finals one time at a fairgrounds similar to that. You know, uh, but the only one I never really had an issue with any of the venues. I was there to compete. Uh, the ones I can remember that might have been a bad experience was like I broke my gear or my amps went into protect or
There you go. Joe Alt says I was there at that drag finals. It was a disaster. It was a complete disaster. And I'm not saying like the organizations were at fault. I'm not saying that the fairgrounds was at fault. It was just not set up good at all. I didn't even compete that year. I just went and hung out. Uh,
right.
but that was, and it sucks too because that's back. I'm from that area, from the Lima, Ohio area. Um, but I just remember out of all the finals I've ever been to, that one was very dysfunctional.
Now, I mean, I've had some dysfunctional ones. I mean, I can remember a couple of those too, because I was the head judge at several of them also. But I, I feel like even when I had a bad, like not a great experience, I still felt like I learned something usually. So I don't know. And I didn't experience that one you're talking about, or the one Joe was has told me about that MECA did. Um, like we had a couple when I first started competing, like at the Tennessee fairgrounds, and they were outside and the lanes were inside, and I mean that was kind of rough because it was cold. But I don't know. I was only like 20 years old, so it didn't phase me. I guess I thought I was just happy to be there at the time.
I know my two favorite locations have been the Kentucky Convention Center. And then remember a few years back, they did it at the same place where Triple Fest is down in Alabama. That was a
Yeah,
nice
yeah,
spot, dude, for finals. Like everybody had a
yeah. That
nice
one wasn't
sized
bad.
building. It was good location. Um, Decent weather. The buildings were big enough to actually be able to do that. Um, that was a
Yeah,
nice spot, man. I liked that show.
yeah. See, Joe said Bullitt County Fairgrounds next to the Goat Barns was pretty tough in November, but yeah, we liked the one at Muscle Shoals. Like I said, I don't know. Like, there's not very many. Like, yeah, there's a few that like the location might not be like 100% like the greatest or whatever. But I feel like we've been able to make the majority of them work pretty decent. At like, yeah, I was getting ready to say the spot in Tennessee we had was really nice, but like, I mean, that's why I was trying to get at. Like for the unified things, it's just difficult because like in order to put 100 cars in a building you need like 50 or 60,000 square feet. You know
Oh yeah,
and then now you're gonna tell me you want them to drive around in the building,
yeah.
and
Well, and it's
so
not
it
even
just
that. Like when you have a finals that big, like you also have to consider like trailer parking, and where's all the people going to go that can't fit inside. Um,
right.
and then you got three organizations arguing about who's going to be inside and who's not. And nah, I'm sure a lot of work goes into unified finals.
Oh, it does. And at the end of the day, we don't forget about, we don't just say screw it every year. We talk to each other. It's just sometimes we can or sometimes we can't. It just kind of depends on how the cookie crumbles, I guess. But
Right.
I don't, at the end of the day, it didn't because we all hate each other. I'll just leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? It's just because it's hard to get it to work.
Right.
And for everybody to be happy, and even though we know that's not really a thing, uh for everybody to be as happy as possible, you know. And you lose a lot of the personal touches you could put on things too, but I mean that's not the most important. But it's just one of those things. There's pros and cons both ways, and we discuss it and try to make it happen, almost like I said, almost every year. So I mean, there's been things that happen behind the scene that we make our own plans here and there sometimes, but at the end of the day, you know we're still working on what we're going to do this year. And uh you never know, because like I said, it necessarily that we won't speak to each other or nothing like that. So I think you can rest assured that there are three or four of us or five of us out there that, like, we don't mind talking to each other. And just because it doesn't happen or we can't make it happen doesn't mean that we hate each other. you know I'm not saying that we like each other either, but I'm just saying.
So, what do you think some of your top shows are going to be this year?
uh
I'm assuming you're doing Slamology.
yeah, I'm sure we'll do that one. I haven't heard from. Well, I did get an email from them, but I don't know. We haven't hammered out the details yet, but I'm sure we'll do that one. I'm sure we'll be at the Ohio one. I'm sure we'll be at.
You going to do Made of Steel?
We usually do, but that's Tony's area. But usually yes. We're at or a part a lot of them. I just can't think of them off the top of my head.
Triple Fest? Somebody was asked about.
We usually do that one. Um,
Let's see here.
and I don't necessarily take care of all of them either. Some of them my judges.
Have you ever done the Smoky Mountain Jamming?
I don't think so.
I think that's one show we might try to do this year. Everybody keeps asking us to go, and it seems like a really nice, chill spot. A bunch of people camp and stuff there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was ours.
Are you doing SVR? I'm not sure yet, Kevin, but I do. That reminds me that I do think Larry sent me a message like a while back, and I've spaceballed it, so I need to go back and look. But I'm probably supposed to be sending him an answer. So, thanks for the reminder, Kevin. But I'm pretty sure we will. I'll have to obviously get it figured out. But all right, y'all got any last questions for Aaron or me? I think we've been on for a little over an hour. So, again, I appreciate you, Aaron. Audiosellerz. If you guys need any gear, check them out. Audiosellerz is at audiosellerz.com.
Yep.
And check out their Facebook page. Make sure you like us all and share us all and follow us and all that good stuff. You got any last things you want to say to the folks there, Aaron?
Nah, they're probably tired of listening to us for the night.
Yeah, they probably are.
They just want to go unwrap their Christmas presents.
Yeah, I should probably too. All right, Aaron. I appreciate you coming on with me tonight. If you want to hang out, I'll talk to you for a minute, but I'm gonna shut this down here. So thanks for coming on and talking with us about audio sellers and car audio in general. And we'll
Yeah, I
talk to you
appreciate
again
it.
soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right. Thanks, Aaron. All right, you guys. I appreciate everybody. It's Christmas Eve. Sorry it went a little late. I was a little late hopping on. Um, I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. I'll probably see you before New Year's, but you guys have a Merry Christmas. I hope you get all the audio that you want and that everybody has a happy Christmas. It's going to be the first one I've had in a long time. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going somewhere, and we'll have a happy Christmas. So I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas out there in MECA land. And until next time, keep it loud and clear, MECA heads.